Willkommen zurück bei Lamplight City. Hier im ja, bisher noch nicht zweiten Fall, aber den ersten haben wir auf jeden Fall letzte Folge abgeschlossen. Heißt, wenn ihr das noch nicht gesehen habt, dann natürlich gerne die letzte Folge nochmal schauen. Wir gehen jetzt auf jeden Fall zu der Frau Upton wieder in das Coffeehaus. Um mal zu gucken, ja, um einfach mal zu schauen, was sie denn für einen neuen Fall hat.
So, how's the caddy business? Making good money?
Ah, okay. Ja dann.
Heard the Redites are planning to...
It's getting pretty ugly between Atwood and Leroy.
Yeah.
Bla bla bla. Naja, okay.
Hello, Upton.
I'm glad you came, Fordham. Sorry for disturbing you this late.
I'm curious to know what's so important that it couldn't wait until morning.
An infant kidnapping in Lyon. The report came in tonight just before my shift ended. The family wants to keep the investigation very low-key. They're afraid if word gets out, they'll have all sorts of ne'er-do-wells making false ransom claims. That's why I suggested they let you investigate first. Head over to 45 Belcourt Street. That's the home of Malcolm and Miriam Harris, the parents of the kidnapped boy.
Okay.
Harris? As in Harris Construction Company?
The very same. Owned by Malcolm's father, no less. Now you see why they wanted to keep this out of the public eye.
Indeed. If they manage to get a new transatlantic airship off the ground, it'll be an aura mine. I can see why they'd make an easy target.
Okay.
Don't worry, Upton. I'll get the kid back before you can say hot toddy.
Hot toddy. I think you're losing your touch, Fordham.
And I think you've lost your joke book. Try some new material for a change, would you?
Right. Good luck on your investigation. Come see me again once you figured things out. Or if you just need to talk. I'll be here all day tomorrow as well. So feel free to stop by.
Alles klar. Aufgabe ist notiert. Mit Familie Harris sprechen. Und ab dafür. Okay.
Mr. Miles Fordham is here to see you, sir.
Very good, Mr. Havelock. Send him up.
Yes, sir.
Das sah aus, wenn er einen Regenmantel anhätte.
Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Fordham. I'm Malcolm Harris.
I'm terribly sorry to hear about what's happened, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham. You were very highly recommended by Miss Upton. She said you'd be able to solve this faster and more discreetly than the police. I admit it's a rather unorthodox approach, but we're desperate.
I understand. I'll do all I can to find the kidnapper and bring your son back unharmed.
If you'd like to examine the nursery, it's just through that door to the left. I'll ask you to please try and keep quiet as I just sent my wife to bed. Her nerves are rather shot, you see.
Yes, of course.
Alles klar. Wir gehen mal rein und gucken mal. Okay. Was ist das? Eine Flaschenwärmer.
Steam-powered bottle warmer. Certainly beats having to do it in the fireplace. Or in the case of my parents, over a barrel fire.
Okay, hier ist kaputtes Fenster.
Probably won't be another year or so before the child gets any practical use out of those blocks beyond putting them in his mouth. Interesting. This fabric looks as though it came from a garment of some kind.
Ja, nimm mit.
Huh. There's a small emblem sewn onto the side of this piece of fabric. It just says SS.
Somebody's initials, maybe?
Okay.
Be careful not to cut yourself, Miles. I don't think the Harris family has ever seen blood that isn't blue. Be careful not to cut...
Okay, hier ist das
Look, you can see the balcony extends all the way around the side of the manor.
That would make it rather easy for someone to access this window from the outside.
No evidence of what was used to smash the glass, though. It looks rather flimsy. Let's not try sitting on it.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Oh nein.
Ah, wonderful. The soporific has started working. Well done, Fordham. Now how are you supposed to... What's the word I'm looking for? Instigate? Interrogate? I just had it on the tip of my tongue.
Perhaps it's time to call it a night.
Nein.
Shh, it's time to sleep. Quiet. Quiet.
Ei.
No talking now. He'll know it's all wrong.
Well, Mr. Harris, I believe I've done all I can for right now.
Did you find anything?
Yes, I believe I have some leads I can pursue. But the most important thing to do in cases like this is wait to hear from the kidnappers. I'll be back tomorrow morning to continue my investigation and ask you and your wife some questions once you've had time to calm down a bit. In the meantime, I suggest you stay here and get some sleep. We'll all need it.
Miles, wake up. It's nearly noon.
Ah, so it is.
Why didn't you come to bed when you got home last night?
It was late. I didn't want to disturb you.
So what was so urgent about the case Upton sent you?
I'm trying to track a kidnapped child.
Oh my goodness. That's awful.
Yes, the pressure's on, but I think I should be able to crack it.
Assuming you actually managed to get anything done at the Harris Manor today.
Well, let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Also, we've got company. Mrs. Delacroix is having her hair done here today, so please make yourself presentable.
You mean I'm not already?
At least do something about your hair. I do have a reputation to maintain after all.
What's wrong with my hair?
Do you really want me to answer that? We'll be here all day.
Okay, soll irgendwas mit den Haaren machen.
You should have let me be buried wearing my hat. At least it wouldn't be gathering dust like it is now.
If I'd done that, it would be dust right now.
Fair point.
Ich dachte, vielleicht können wir den Hut aufsetzen.
It's admirable just how organized Adelaide is.
So, ich dachte, ich wollte jetzt aber auch nicht rausgehen, ohne dass ich mich jetzt hier fertig gemacht habe.
Wouldn't you say it's time for a change of clothes, Miles? You've been working...
So? Addie gave it to me.
Right. Brooding the...
What are you talking about, Bill?
Never mind.
Na gut.
And then he said, "Oh, hello there. I don't believe we've met."
Mrs. Delacroix, this is my husband, Miles. Miles, this is Mrs. Delacroix.
Pleasure to meet you, madam.
Likewise, young man. Pleasure.
Is everything all right, Mrs. Delacroix?
Oh, yes, everything's fine. It's just that... Well, you weren't what I was expecting, is all.
Keep your head, Miles. She may be a close-minded idiot, but she's just an old lady.
Sind alle deine...
What were you expecting exactly?
Well...
Now then, Mrs. Delacroix.
Oh, yes. So, Harold came in and said...
Impressive. She got off pretty easy. I was expecting a repeat of the Parsons incident. You should give Adelaide a kiss on the way out, though, just to make the old bat feel extra uncomfortable.
Das machen wir.
Addie?
Not right now, Miles. I'm busy. We can talk once I finish with Mrs. Delacroix.
Oh Mann. Erstmal Zeitung lesen. Laura Duplé fälschlich für tot erklärt. Ja, das ist richtig. Die vor 2 Wochen für tot erklärte Madame aus Gascon, Madame Laura Dupré, ist doch am Leben. Polizeiliche Untersuchungen zufolge wurde Madame Dupré in einen todesähnlichen Zustand versetzt und beinahe lebendig begraben. Es war absolut grauenhaft. Es ist mir unbegreiflich, wie meiner Mutter derart übel mitspielen konnte, sagte Andrew Montgomery. Doch hierbei blieb es nicht. Madame Dupré verfiel in eine Katatonie, seit sie aus dem Sarg befreit wurde, und es ist noch unklar, ob oder wann sich davon erholen wird. Ein Tatverdächtiger wurde bereits verhaftet, doch haben neue Sachverhalte seine Unschuld bewiesen. Den wahren Schuldigen gilt es noch zu ermitteln, es ist aber wahrscheinlich jemand, der Familie nahesteht. Aber wir wissen doch, wer es ist. Explosion bei Brauerei war Sabotage. Okay. Gut. Ja, hier, das machen wir.
Goodbye, dearest.
I look forward to your return, my love.
Okay, so. Ab in das Haus. Schön mit der
Remind
Kutsche.
me, Miles, how is finding some rich people's kidnapped baby going to help us track down the flower shop burglar?
Ja, hier ist wahrscheinlich, ja.
It's possible we might find a lead to the burglar during the course of this investigation.
Really, Miles? You really believe that?
Anything's possible, Bill. You remember how many times we encountered seemingly trivial matters which turned out to be important later on?
Well, if you plan on solving this case, you'll need your full wits about you.
What are you implying?
I'm not implying. I'm flat out telling you. You need to stop taking that soporific. Adelaide has been trying to get you to stop for months, and Upton already suspects something is amiss. Not to mention your little episode last night. Trust me, no one is going to want to hire the dullard detective.
Clever. Did you come up with that one all by yourself?
What are you going to do when the cases stop coming in? How long before you get put away in Riverview?
If I do get locked away, it'll be your fault.
Which is exactly why you need to get back to your normal routine so you can find the burglar.
Ich höre auf damit, wenn du mich nachts wach hältst.
Alright, fine. I'll stop. But if you keep me awake at night, so help me.
Don't worry. I'm sure you'll find a way to cope. You were always good at that. Well, I'm glad that's settled then. I knew you'd see things my way eventually.
It's not as though you gave me much of a choice.
In time, you'll thank me. Probably not before the withdrawal hits, though.
Don't make me change my mind on this, Bill.
Mr. Fordham, you're back. Allow me to introduce my wife, Miriam.
Hello.
A pleasure, Mrs. Harris. I wish we could have met under better circumstances, but I assure you I'm doing all I can to find your son.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham.
Mr. Harris, has there been any communication from the kidnapper?
None at all.
Well, I'll have another look around, if you don't mind.
Okay. Wir uns mal umgucken. Gehen wir nochmal ins Kinderzimmer.
Miles, didn't you notice something a bit strange about the Harrises?
Quite a few things, actually. What are you referring to?
His son was just kidnapped, yet they're each on their own side of the sitting room. Not comforting each other, not crying together. Nothing.
They're stuck-up rich people. Not exactly the type to show emotion.
Miles, you know I'm the most cynical person there is when it comes to their type. But this isn't normal behavior, even for snobs. This goes deeper than saving face. There's something going on between them. I think you should find out what.
Okay. Wir gucken, was wir da rausfinden können. Oh, ein Knöpfchen.
That's odd. Why is there a loose button in the crib? I'm no expert on children, but it seems like it would be dangerous to have around an infant. If only the flower shop burglar was as easy to find as this clue was.
Okay, wir haben einen Hinweis gefunden. Den Knopf.
Yeah, the kidnapper left the child's blanket behind. There doesn't appear to be any trace of the silver spoon, though. Nice mobile. Custom made, too. There'll be no mistaking what family this child comes from.
Okay, sonst...
Yeah, the kidnapper left the child...
Okay. Was haben wir hier
Look
noch?
at that. The kid has a toy chest. My sister and I used to have to keep our toys buried in the backyard. Of course, that is because the only toys we had were dead rats. My friend Bunny. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want a giant imaginary rabbit for a friend. Bear's picnic. Something about a group of giant human-like bears eating together in the woods is slightly unsettling.
Okay, ansonsten, gut, das kaputte Fenster, das hatten wir uns ja gestern schon angeschaut.
I know the hand and waistcoat pose is supposed to look stately, but to me it always looks like the person is scratching themselves. She looks like she's up to something.
Okay. Teeservice, groß.
I'm sure the only location the Harrises care about is wherever they are at any given moment. The Harris family certainly has a nice view from which to look down upon the world. I wonder if they use the balcony to give speeches to the gardeners.
Wäre doch was.
It's nice to see that tea is still served here even in times of tragedy.
Okay, wir sprechen erstmal mit ihr.
I have some questions for you if you're up to answering them, Mrs. Harris.
I'll try my best, Mr. Fordham.
Okay. Erstmal über sie selber.
Tell me a bit about yourself, Mrs. Harris.
Mr. Fordham, my son has been kidnapped and is out there alone, terrified and confused. What could I possibly tell you that would make any difference to you finding him?
I suppose you're right, Mrs. Harris. My apologies if I upset you.
Ja, ganz ruhig, ey. Ganz ruhig.
Tell me what you know about your son's kidnapping.
Oh, my poor baby!
Mrs. Harris, I know this is difficult, but I need as much information as you can give me so I can bring your son back.
Yes, you're right. I have to stay strong. For Charles. It happened sometime between 6 and 8 last night, I think. Both my husband and I had gone out. Charles was in the care of his nanny, Mrs. Davis. I arrived home first, around 8:30, and that's when I found this scene in the nursery, as it was.
And what was it you found?
Mrs. Davis, unconscious in her chair, the broken window, and Charles missing from his crib. Malcolm arrived home shortly afterwards, around 9, and then immediately sent our butler, Mr. Havelock, to notify the police. We stayed up waiting for any contact from the kidnappers, but there was nothing.
You said you arrived home first. Where were you last night?
Oh, I was visiting with some of my friends. We gathered at one of their homes for a concert.
I see. And your husband?
He was at the social club with his friends as well, I believe.
Wait a minute. I know this attitude all too well. This woman is hiding something. Most likely from her husband. I doubt it's voices from beyond the grave. So the question is, what's her secret?
Okay. Dann, ja, wir fragen einfach mal weiter.
Tell me about your son.
Charles is our only child. He's such a good boy. Never makes a fuss. Always very sweet. Oh, Charles, you must be so frightened out there without your mother. Oh, please, Mr. Fordham. You have to bring him home.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
What can you tell me about Mrs. Davis?
She's worked for us since Charles was born, a little over 6 months ago.
How did you come to employ her?
Malcolm's mother had a friend whose daughter she used to care for. She came highly recommended. We've never had any problems with her. She's always been a dream.
Where is she now?
In her room, I would guess. With Charles missing, there's little for her to do.
Where might I find her room?
There's a small building just around the back of the manor. Hers is the 4th door from the left.
Okay.
Can you think of any reason why your son would be a target for kidnapping?
It could be that someone wants our money, or some lunatic who's angry about the new airship. My husband's an investor, and my father-in-law owns the company building it, you see. I just don't know, Mr. Fordham. Frankly, the fact that something like this could even happen is just terrifying.
I found this bit of torn fabric by the broken window. Do you know anything about it?
No, I've never seen it before. Do you think it was left by the kidnapper?
Perhaps. Did the initials SS mean anything to you?
No, I can't think of anyone or anything I know with those initials.
I found this button in your son's crib. Does it look familiar at all?
No, I don't recognize it. It looks like it came from some cheap coat. Is that
Natürlich
what the
erkennt ihr den
ruffian who
nicht.
took my baby was wearing?
That's what I'm trying to determine. That's all for now, Mrs. Harris.
Very well.
Okay. Ja, also sie war bei ihren Freunden und er war auch irgendwo anders unterwegs. Ja, das ist... Bin mal sehr gespannt. Also wir sprechen in der nächsten Folge auf jeden Fall einmal mit ihm, um mal zu gucken, was er so erzählt. Dann müssen wir uns auf jeden Fall mit dem Kindermädchen unterhalten, damit wir da neue Erkenntnisse kriegen. Und ja, dann gucken wir, was wir sonst noch so machen können. Ansonsten, vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen. Wir sehen uns dann in der nächsten Folge von Lamplight City hier im zweiten Fall. Bis dahin, auf Wiedersehen.